Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. It's me, Alejandro Mendoza, or the Nerd Chicano. Either way, how you say it, it's all good here. And we're back for another review on the channel as we start looking at our new set from the Criterion collection, Abbas Kiarostami's The Koker Trilogy. Of course, we finished our journey through Pier Paolo Pasolini's The Trilogy of Life last week as we looked at Arabian Nights, and today we're going to commence our journey through this new trilogy with his 1987 film, Where is the Friend's House? Of course, I hope everyone's having a great day, and I hope you all been enjoying the videos. I do want to apologize for the lack of content during the last week. Life caught up to me, and the wedding came up as well that I had to attend, so I didn't get the chance to pre-record anything. So I decided to take that week off so that way I can get back on track with these videos. So I'm very excited to start our journey through this set and also look at this film that I adore. Nonetheless, if you do enjoy this video or content about physical media, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. And when you subscribe, make sure you click that notification bell so you don't miss a single lick of content that comes to the channel. Make sure you also leave a like on this video, and if you want to go a step further, visit me on Patreon at patreon.com/thenerdchicano for early access to videos just like this one and some exclusives like video essays. But without further ado, let's start looking into this new set from the Criterion collection. So the Koker Trilogy is a 3-disc Blu-ray set, and since this is the first video, let's go ahead and look at the packaging we have included here, which this has got to be one of my favorite designs from Criterion. So this is the front of our set, and then this is the back. Go ahead and get that a little closer right there. There we go. Cool. This is the spine, which includes the spine number for all 3 films, and then this is the other side of the spine, which also includes the spine numbers for all the other 3 films, the 3 films in this set, which is really different from the Pier Paolo Pasolini set, which, one side does have the spine numbers for every single film, but then if you go the other way around, there's a spine number for the trilogy itself. So I found that to be really interesting. But you go ahead and just separate it like this, and you have this really interesting look at the set. You have, what's it called, the last film in the series, in this set, in this trilogy, Through the Olive Trees. So you take that off, and then you have And Life Goes On. And then you have the first film, Where's the Friend's House? So let's go ahead and look at this through, sequential order. So you have a booklet, well, not a booklet, a pamphlet, but this has got to be one of the best quality pamphlets they've actually given you all that is not a booklet from the Criterion collection. I really, really like this little pamphlet. Comes with some interesting stuff here, transfer notes and, acknowledgments and all that. There's some really beautiful art too, if you look at that. It's just incredible. But really nice booklet here with the from the set. And so you pretty much just have, like, this is the front, and then this is the back, and this is the Blu-ray disc. Where's the Friend's House? And then this is the back of the casing. Then of course you have And Life Goes On, or Life and Nothing More. This is the front of the casing. This is the back of the casing. And then you have your Blu-ray disc. Yep. And you have the back of the casing right there. Then notice how this starts to build like a painting. So this goes with this one because the first film goes under, second film goes on top. So then we go ahead and look at the final film in this trilogy, Through the Olive Trees, which this is the front, this is the back, and then you have the Blu-ray disc right here. And then the casing in the back, which all have beautiful art of the film on there. So then you take this one and you just put it together with the set, and you have this interesting type of painting that includes all three films. And then you pretty much just put it back inside here, and you have you have these little three here signifying the three works from Kiarostami that are included in this film: Where's the Friend's House, and Life Goes On, and Through the Olive Trees. But that's the packaging of this set, which is really beautiful and really unique. So let's go ahead and talk about this film by reading first this introduction from Criterion.com. The first film in Abbas Kiarostami's sublime interlacing Koker trilogy takes a simple premise. A boy searches for the home of his classmate whose school notebook he has accidentally taken, and transforms it into a miraculous child's eye adventure of the everyday. As our young heroes zigzags determinedly across two towns, aided and sometimes misdirected by those he encounters, his quest becomes both a revealing portrait of rural Iranian society in all its richness and complexity, and a touching parable about the meaning of personal responsibility. Sensitive and profound, Where is the Friend's House is shot through with all of the beauty, tension, and wonder a single day can contain. The special features included in this disc are a new 2K digital restoration with uncompressed monaural soundtrack on the Blu-ray, Homework 1989, a feature-length documentary by director Abbas Kiarostami, newly restored, conversations from 2015 between Kiarostami and programmer Peter Scarlett, and a new English subtitle translation. So that's about all that it includes. Of course, written and directed by Abbas Kiarostami, and you have pretty much relatively unknown actors, and of course a lot of children that Kiarostami would end up being known for working with them. Of course, before I can continue any further, I do want to give a shout out to my co-host on the Nerdcore podcast and just my overall best friend in the world, Brad. Brad's the reason I have this set. He actually bought me this for my birthday a long while ago, and that was actually the first time I had ever seen Where's the Friend's House. We had just finished talking about Abbas Kiarostami on the podcast when we did our month looking at his films, and he decided he wanted to buy me this set here, and he bought these films for me, and when I watched them, I was just impressed and just in love with these films. But thank you, Brad. Of course, he's just somebody who's really important to me, but I want to tell him thanks for making this video possible, literally, because if it wasn't for him, I would not have these films or this set here. So like I said, this is the second time I've seen this film, and the first time that I watched it, I thought it was beautiful and it was a masterpiece and that it was such an essential film from Abbas Kiarostami. And now on the second time, I can say that this film is perfect. I mean, you really do have to grasp at the idea that this is a really simple plot here. You don't have anything that's really complex in the way that the story starts. A boy goes to school, his friend gets yelled at and is told that if he does not come back tomorrow with a notebook and his homework done, he will be expelled. What happens next is that his friend accidentally takes the boy's notebook, and then that boy needs to find his friend and give him his notebook back. It's pretty simple, and when you really think about it, a film like that shouldn't be as beautifully expansive of a piece of art like this when you just look at the bare bones of it all. But Abbas Kiarostami does this incredible thing of taking the simple in life and making it this wondrous and beautiful journey that we are all invited into in his films. And that is exactly what Is the Friend's House is. I love the cinematography of this film, the music, and the characters that we have included in here. it does not miss in the fact that this is probably as documentarian as you can get without being in the actual documentary genre. You have a way of looking at life in a rural Iran in the way that films like Y Tu Mamá También do it, but without it being in the background. You are literally thrown into the area of rural Iran, and you are looking at the way that the people live and the way that people react to certain things and how they think about certain parts of life. And that's what I find the most compelling about Where is the Friend's House. It's not exactly a film about, friendship and making sure that, you're always in tune with your education, but it's really about a film about how generations change and how people react differently to authority. And a lot of that is presented to this kid who, sometimes he can really just be fixated on the one thing that he needs to complete, while everybody else seems to be ordering him to do other things, and no one seems to understand the fact that he's looking out for his common man by trying to make sure that he doesn't get expelled. And at the end of the day, he completes the homework for him and gives him back the notebook. And you could say that that is something you shouldn't do, because that kid should be held responsible for what he's done. But that's also a very individualistic look at life that's not always the same point of view in the East than in the West. Abbas Kiarostami finds a way to perfectly explore that, and I just gotta say that it's one of the most engaging films you'll ever see, and it's just one of the best films that Abbas Kiarostami has ever made. Now let's talk about the restoration. I watched this on my TCL 4K TV, and I played it on my Panasonic 4K player, so I upscaled. So I benefited from some upscaling. And of course, this is a 2K restoration, so you're not going to entirely get a 4K output, but you are going to get a little bit over that 2K presentation. When I watched this the first time, I actually watched it on my Xbox One, and I watched it on a, HD TV. It wasn't anything like as big as a 4K TV, but it still managed to show a beautiful picture on that TV. And I've got to say, now watching on the TCL 4K TV, I don't see a big of a difference, but I do appreciate the upscaling where it is present. I've got to say, this is a beautiful restoration, especially because if you look at it, it's a very natural type of film stock that Abbas Kiarostami uses. And the way that it's able to pick up the color of rural Iran, especially the Koker and Poshte, it really does lend itself to be a very beautiful portrait of everyday life there, with the use of the regrading on this restoration. I don't know exactly what this movie used to look like when it wasn't restored, but I've got to say that the work that was done to bring out a new life out of this film is very, very much appreciated, because this film looks fantastic and the video quality is definitely top tier. It's not as crisp as you would think for a 2K restoration, but it does a good job at presenting its grain and sticking to what made it so special before. I've got to just shout out especially the work that was done on the night scenes. Once you get into those later scenes in the film where the boy is walking through Poshte and at night, they did such a great job at being able to balance that out, and just the sharp contrast and the very dark color really brought out a beautiful grading in this restoration that I adored. And some of my favorite visuals are from that part in the film. And I gotta say that with that 2K restoration, it really did bring out a beautiful sight to look at in this film. Of course, the audio is just as magnificent, and I cannot complain about that one bit. I love this monaural soundtrack. It definitely has a way of still sounding like the film that was released in 1987, but it is cleaned up and it's presented in a much more cleaner and crisp presentation that it really does stand out. And I gotta say that you can tell that a lot of work was put into the video and a lot of work was put into the audio. I love that about this film. And everything felt very balanced. Nothing sounded like it was had hissing, or if it felt like some was louder than the other. Everything just worked well. And it's all thanks to this beautiful monaural soundtrack that's included in this film. But nonetheless, of course, it's just some beautiful restorative work here. And I've got to say that now, having watched this on 2 different TVs and on 2 different inputs, I've got to say that I really do like the way that it looked on my TV with my Panasonic 4K player. But even on an Xbox One and an HD TV, it still looked fantastic. To connect with me on social media, make sure you follow me at The Nerd Chicano on Twitch, on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and Letterboxd and Serialized. Make sure you follow me on there. I'm the same thing on all of them, at The Nerd Chicano, and I also follow back. Keep up to date with the stuff that we're doing on the Nerdcore by following us at thenerdcore.com. That is our website where we post a bunch of stuff like podcast episode reviews and everything in between. Also check us out on Twitch and on YouTube under the same username, The Nerdcore. Pretty much the same thing on all there. And we're doing a lot of cool stuff this month in November as we look at films from Ingmar Bergman with our good friend Aiden Burns. So next week we're going to continue looking at this set as we look at the next film in the Koker trilogy, and Life Goes On, or Life and Nothing More, from 1992. But in the meantime, I've had so much fun talking about where's the friend's house. So in the comments, tell me what you think about this film. Tell me, what do you think about Abbas Kiarostami, or what do you think about the Koker trilogy? I want to talk with you all, so make sure that you chat with me in the comments or in our little community tab there, where I talk about what's coming up in the week and stuff like that. Now, without further ado, to my wonderful cinephiles and renowned scholars, celebrate the love of cinema today, tomorrow, and every day after. Catch you all in the next one, guys. Bye.